Krishna, president of Stellar, is here. Executives, that's part of an international, national organization. But I then had breakfast with him, and we were talking about just AI and some of the things that are on our mind from a business standpoint. And he has such an incredible background, like a master's degree in electrical and electronics engineering. Like, that's a mouthful for me. And so what that tells you is he's really, really smart. He's really smart. And I read the deck that they put together, and it's a smart deck that they put together. And I want to introduce Kristen to you all to just talk about AI. And my hope is that we're just thinking about this from our point of view, from our perspective, from where we sit, and we're going to get this show moving. Kristen.
Loans, mortgages, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Come on. Come on, guys. A room full of bankers, so I just thought, that would be a good way to get your attention. So, my name is Krishna Purnala, and I'm CEO of Stellar IT Solutions. We're an multinational IT consulting company. We basically are like an IT vendor or an implementation partner for the Fortune 500 companies. And we are headquartered in St. Louis. I'm here to talk about AI. So, and some amount of give you guys some creative ideas or a strategic blueprint on how you guys can potentially innovate using AI technologies. The idea is to spark the creativity before your workshop, where you guys are gonna deep dive a lot more into potential applications of AI inside your bank. So what the heck is this thing? We are at the period of profound transformation by AI at this point in time. AI is proliferating the entire society across industries, both horizontally and vertically, and transforming the world as we know it. Basically, if you see this unprecedented AI adoption curve, I'm just quoting you numbers about ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT now has 800 million users, 350 billion searches are being done, and they're already about 10 billion in revenue while just being 2 years young. So, that's the amount of investment. A lot of venture capital is going invested at crazy valuations. You guys might have seen Elon Musk's XAI get a 100 billion valuation, whereas it's just like a generally available LLM right now. So there's a lot of heavy investment going on, and AI products are getting instantaneous diffusion into the society. Also, there's because even sovereigns are thinking this to be like a strategic asset. There's so much importance on building data centers, providing energy to data centers, countries wanting to have data centers located inside their territories, and a lot of countries are seeing AI and data centers and data as a strategic moat to protect their country and advance their country. So that's pretty much why we all need to pay attention and take advantage of this transformative technology for your bank, your job, your functions, and potentially differentiate yourself and succeed better than others who don't. So, impact points in the banking ecosystem, AI is profound and has deep implications, whether it's loan applications or management of around loan applications or fraud detection, customer service. I'm going to talk a little bit more about each of these use cases, but you can use AI everywhere in almost all bank functionalities and be much more successful, productive, and achieve more as a team. So a brief, history about AI, because it's not just some kind of magic that popped up out of the blue suddenly. A neuroscientist called as Matt Magalo, termed the word neuron for the very first time in a technical paper, research paper that's published in 1943. Then we have, legendary, scientists publish research analysis and papers and new ideas and thoughts, whether it's like Alan Turing. Alan Turing's Turing test is still relevant today. He published a research paper, about how he calls it the imitation game. How much a machine can imitate a human in terms of thinking, logical action, things like that. That's pretty much what a Turing test is. And Alan Turing's research and findings and his papers are still considered like a textbook or Bible for researchers and scientists even today. And you have people like Shannon, who is considered the father of information technology, write papers about how to represent data logically in an information system, things like that in 1948, things like that. And this technology has had its own ebbs and flows. They're like just like how human life is. We have these winters and summers. Just like that, this technology is criticized and ridiculed, and also people thought about its potential and future to be with a lot of skepticism. But this technology persisted, mainly even though there's excellent research in the 1960s and late 20th century, this technology didn't take off like it did just recently in the last 5-6 years, mainly because of hardware limitations. You need supercomputers, big data centers, and large amount of computers, things like that, which didn't exist back in the day, but thanks to NVIDIA, GPUs, TPUs, Google's TPUs, a lot of stuff, now it is really possible. You take, going back to Musk's example of XAI, he built a freaking supercomputer-like data center in just 3 months in Memphis. And he's able to make XAI, the Grok LLM, generally available to all of us in record time. That's because technology exists now, which was a limitation back then. And also in the scientific community, as research papers got published on like convolutional neural networks, recurrent neural networks, a lot of different stuff. There are also like different cults and subgroups in the research community that took opposing views and things like that, and it got a little bit politicized, and that also caused delays. Now if you take any researcher, all they need to do is just read those papers and read the Python libraries that would help implement different algorithms, and certainly they are an AI developer today. It's as simple as that. So that sort of a solid foundation is already laid out. So essentially, I want to cover about AI in like 3 different sections. One is this slide about AI paradigms that we are in right now. So different types of AI that we are experiencing. And the enablers of this AI technology is actually the underlying hardware and also the databases. The way you are able to scale to terabytes and petabytes of data, build models with billions of parameters, and all that stuff is all data engineering, the magic that's happening in data engineering. So I'm going to cover the three sections. So coming to AI paradigms, first of all, like what exists right now today, you can put the AI technology in three different buckets. You have machine learning, you have generative AI, kind of like all the ChatGPTs and different LLMs, and you have agentic AI. I'm going to talk in detail a lot more about Copilots and different kind of agentic AI incarnations that are available in the Microsoft and Azure ecosystem. But these are the three different types of AI that exist today. So depending on the use case for your bank, you choose that specific technology. Like machine learning can be easily used to leverage patterns within your data, and you are able to, if you are trying to do insights, forecasts, that kind of stuff, machine learning algorithms can be leveraged. If you want to do creativity, personalization, for those kind of use cases, using a generative AI like ChatGPT, for example, that's available through the Azure platform for your bank. That's you can apply that. And this agentic AI, that you guys should absolutely get into. How do you process a loan application and automate the underwriting process end to end? With just human assisted AI, and AI being able to hand off to humans at strategic points in the decision making loop. But that's the whole idea. So now agentic AI, right? What's the difference between agentic AI that I'm talking about versus something like generative AI, like a ChatGPT, that you can ask questions, get answers from things like that. The main thing is agentic AI differentiates LLMs in its ability to take autonomous actions. It's able to take actions, it's able to connect to different systems, it's able to make decisions. That's the main difference between agentic AI and ChatGPT. ChatGPT, you are actually training your ChatGPT, and then based on the data that it is trained on, when you ask a question, you get a response. That's it. And very soon we're gonna end up in this kind of a world where it's all like coordinated intelligence. You have different banking applications, you have different automation workflows, and AI-based decision making, things like that. And all of this is going to be achieved by specialized subject matter expert type AI agents. An AI agent that can do loan origination, AI agent that can do customer service, an AI agent that can do some other banking application. All of them coming together, coordinating with each other, along with you guys in the loop to basically provide a cohesive experience for your customers. So how do you do this? Okay, it's nice, but what is the technology enabler that will help you achieve this? That is MCP. So it's called as Model Context Protocol, MCP, and it's kind of like, in layman terms, kind of like a black magic tool. Just turn on AI. AI is able to learn by itself from user guidance and user actions, and it's able to determine its path and plan, things like that. So the MCP, standing up MCP servers and configuring. Basically, MCP is also like a interface, how all of us human beings are interfacing with each other using the English language. Your bank would have databases, your bank would have SAP, CRM, ERPs, all these kind of systems, right? How would AI be able to connect to all of your banking applications, have a back and forth conversation, and be able to do different things using your bank's applications? This is the protocol that enables it. So, let's talk about hardware now. Why like specialized AI is like really, really very important and a key ingredient. Because without all this hardware, there's no generic, reusable AI. It's only because these things have arrived that we are talking about all these new possibilities. So back in the day, all of our computers had CPUs, and now, like for decades after decades of research and general availability, GPUs, came into picture. CPU stand for like compute, and you have GPUs, graphical processing units. That's mainly coined and manufactured by NVIDIA mainly, and AMD also has a share in the market. But generally, GPUs are able to do, GPUs have smaller cores. They can do parallel processing well. They have high bandwidth memory. They are specialized in matrix operations. All these kind of things. That's how at a hardware level it's different from a CPU core. And because of this, because of these GPUs, training AI and doing inference with AI became possible. So, and GPUs are the main enablers. And then Google actually took like a different route, and they have something called as a tensor processing unit. So a tensor processing unit is also like a specialized AI hardware, and it is able to scale to terabytes and petabytes of data, it's like millions and millions of muxes, multiplexes that are connected in one hardware chip essentially. Hardware multiplexers can be used for multiplication, switching, whole bunch of things. And then you also have neuron processing units, NPUs, which is the latest cutting edge hardware technology right now. And NPUs, like say you have an Apple that wants to provide Apple Intelligence to Siri on your iPhone. You cannot run a ChatGPT on your iPhone because of its limited hardware resources. So you want hardware units that's able to process and provide AI. So like these are like low memory bandwidth, but they are able to deliver AI using training and inference that is part on device and that is part on the cloud. That sort of a thing. So you guys would have heard about DeepSeek, for example. It surprised a lot of people because in a record time and very minimal hardware, it achieved what a ChatGPT would. And they are able to do it because of hardware innovations where you are able to distill an AI model using limited hardware. So it's that. And quantum is still cooking. In the next 5 to 8 years, you'll see a lot more buzz about quantum computing and quantum computing applications. IBM, Microsoft, and Google are researching heavily and providing generally available products very soon, things like that. But it's going to, all these things are going to, basically revolutionize AI and its proliferation in our society and its applicability, things like that. So now let's talk about the data revolution. So, all of you guys would have heard, about how important data is for AI and how, proprietary data, availability of large volumes of data, and, being able to create customized data sets for your AI, for training your AI, help build products that scale, that are generic, that are very product functionality rich, things like that. So data becomes your strategic moat. You guys as a community bank versus like a brand new bank. You know, a brand new bank cannot do what you guys can because of both having AI, because you guys have more data. And as long as you guys apply the technology principles and use AI strategically to try and customize the AI applications used by our bank, you guys have a strategic moat. So, like all of this strategic moat, how is it? What is the underlying technology enabler for this strategic moat? Is all these different kind of databases. Like relational databases to this day, fintech, financial services companies. That's what get used the most. Highly transactional databases, structured data is what you guys play. And in fact, it's a good thing. Structured data is a lot more easy to handle and train and customize AI on. So that's the relational piece. The Oracle database that you guys know, which is schema oriented, those are the relational databases. Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, all these kind of things. Next, we already see like a lot of NoSQL databases adopted by retail companies, whether it's a Facebook or a Walmart or an Amazon, where 3 nines or 5 nines accuracy for your data, for your query results is not like that important. NoSQL databases excel. They're able to pull 100,000 records or 1,000,000 records in milliseconds, which an Oracle database cannot do. So those came. Now, in the AI world, we're talking about graph databases and vector databases. So using a graph database, you're able to create a knowledge graph, and you are able to represent, traverse, and process hierarchical data. And whenever there are like complex data relationships, things like that, graph databases excel there. And you also have vector databases. Vector databases basically, suppose you have your data set has a bunch of images, and you want to search for content inside those images. How would you do that? Your Oracle database, would allow you to upload and store your images as blob objects inside a table, but that's it. You can't do advanced searches or learn, train, infer. You cannot do any of that. So that's where we can use vector databases. So these are the underlying technologies that is enabling the data revolution. Data revolution is what makes AI useful for your organization. So next, I want to cover a little bit about Microsoft AI services. So you guys, I'm guessing most of you guys would be playing in the applications layer, whether it's Copilot for finance, Microsoft 365, Copilots. Maybe some of you guys would be doing Power BI and Power Platform, and you guys would be using SharePoint, and SharePoint now has AI search inbuilt to it, things like that. But it's important to know, basically, the infrastructure layer mainly consists of, either whether your bank is taking like a hybrid cloud approach and you have your own infrastructure and servers, and some in the Azure cloud, things like that. And then the data layer is all like, how you connect the different data systems in your company. Basically, there are services like Fabric, which is kind of like an all-in-one platform where you can query your data, whether it is in Cosmos DB or Azure Blob Storage or any other sources. You are able to combine data, get answers and insights using this one specific service called as Fabric. So there's AI Foundry that I want to talk about. AI Foundry is just like a marketplace. All these different models that are there from Meta, Google, OpenAI. If your bank wants to build an application, with a specific AI model. That AI model is typically generally available in the AI foundry marketplace that you can use. And it comes with the guardrails, security, data security, and everything like that. That's why you want to use that specific model inside your Azure ecosystem. So that's pretty much what I talked about OpenAI services in Azure and stuff. So next, I want to talk about Copilot. Copilot, basically, you guys are going to love Copilot because as software engineers, our perspective would be different. But for you guys, any low code, no code platform where you are able to drag and drop, create workflows, automate stuff using inside of a UI, things like that would make your life easy and helps you use AI to become much more productive and achieve even more success. So then, all products of Microsoft are generally enterprise ready, and they are built and designed with the enterprise in mind. And they built the Copilot into everywhere. There's Copilot in Windows, there's Copilot in Microsoft 365, which covers all of this stuff, Docs, Excel, SharePoint, PowerPoint, everything. And also there's a Copilot for finance, and they have like a generic UI like this for creating all of your workflows. It's called as the Copilot Studio. So I also want to talk a little bit about the document processing agent. So the way, say you are now based on your role in your company, you are doing a specific bank function, and now you have the intention to use AI to do a part of your job, let's say. So you can go to Copilot Studio and use something like a document processing agent. And the document, basically there are a few nitty-gritty technical details, like it's only able to handle file sizes less than 50 MB, and different kind of stuff. But generally speaking, you drag and drop drop a file that you want to parse into Copilot Studio, and it automatically pulls all the data and passes all the fields, pulls all the data. It's like monitor. These are use cases like an AI agent that is monitoring your email inbox, and as soon as it sees a loan application, it's able to parse the document in the background and generate different data fields and put it in another location that you regularly track. Say there's a client sheet or a leads sheet that you are using. You go to your leads sheet, all the leads from your inbox is already there in the format that you like. So like this, learning and using the document processing agents, is one use case that all of you guys can get your hands dirty on and learn how AI behaves and how to train it essentially. Take one step backward and look back at our own life. There is a period when emails are cool. Then we went through a period where texting is cool. And then we went through a period where social media, blogging, and getting information and using internet for getting things in your life, was cool. And then came short form content, social media, Instagram Reels, TikTok, all this kind of stuff. And now we are in a new phase where we are in using generic AI and for connecting our day-to-day life. And one of the key skills that all of you guys should invest your time on and learn is prompting. What is the prompt that I can give to Copilot or ChatGPT or any specific generic AI service so that I'm able to get the desired information or output. That becomes part of our life. Previously, how we smartly Google search a specific piece of information, and how do you like intuitively and smartly, pick and choose the Google search results, which search results you read, so that in a very short period of time, you are able to consume information and make a decision. So that used to be our superpower. Now, prompt engineering will be our superpower when it comes to AI. And even inside the bank, whatever AI services and tools that are being provided will be like really generic. And you are going to bring your subject matter expertise and your domain expertise, subject matter expertise, to prompt your AIs smartly, and then use them as a tool or an enabler to become even more productive, get more stuff done, and become more successful in your role. So that's very, very important. Now, like back to Copilot, you have to, whenever you want to do things with Copilot, just identify the purpose, then you connect all of your knowledge sources, and then you design your flow in the Copilot Studio, and then you integrate again with the desired banking system where you want the output of the AI agent to be, and then you test and deploy. That's pretty much it. The implementation approach for your bank should be like identify the high value use cases for Copilot, for SharePoint, AI, ChatGPT, things like that, and then basically configure your do pilot projects inside the Copilot Studio, test, validate, and then you scale your deployments. So that's pretty much how you want to roll out projects in your bank. So agent flows and deep reasoning, I added Axel. So it's all the agent orchestration is about like query, planning, execution, and then providing a response essentially. So you can have multiple agents in your Copilot Studio. You can deploy it as an enterprise application on an API endpoint by your IT team and use it. And these Copilots and low-code, no-code platforms provided by Microsoft and Azure would be a key enabler for you guys. So, this is another slide that I want to talk about. I'm talking about all these technical things, mainly because to make you guys or educate you a little bit on the technology and tools that exist at your disposal, and based on the bank function, which tools you can readily use. For example, you can use vision services if you want to do automated check image processing. You can use Azure Vision Services, or you want to, if there's you want to automate how, you want to validate IDs and draw documents that are scanned, use vision services. You can do a lot of document processing, things like that using the Azure Document Intelligence Services. There's language services if you want to use voice agents and that kind of stuff. And if you want to do decision making, there are specific Azure services that help you make decision making, do fraud detection, anomaly detection, all these kind of use cases, and different kind of stuff. So that's why I have it here. Microsoft Fabric, I already touched upon it. Like if you have data which is very common in different systems, and different data exists and it is siloed in different locations, you are able to query all the data from these different systems using Fabric is the enabling technology piece that allows you to pull data from multiple sources, join, aggregate, inform, do analytics, all the sort of stuff. So, use case implementation for banking, you want to basically I already covered it, identify the specific, use the workshop that is subsequent to my speech here, to identify the banking use cases, select the specific Azure services that allow you to, that enable you to implement that specific use case, and then figure out which low-code tools or APIs you can use to achieve that functionality, and just do phased rollouts, with the humans in the loop and a continuous improvement feedback loop between the humans and your technology team that is working on the AI services for your bank. So, even before this, I think I want to cover this time, So now all of you guys have some amount of familiarity when it comes to AI, and you guys are excited about AI. And what's the first thing you want to do in your bank? This, in my opinion, is the first thing you guys should start. Create a Midwest Banking GPT that is based on ChatGPT. But the difference is you are training your Midwest Banking GPT with your knowledge base. It's not like generic ChatGPT that is on your phone. This is much more. This knows this GPT, Midwest Banking GPT, is trained on all of your policy documents, or your entire knowledge base that exists in your bank's SharePoint or anywhere else. And maybe some of it is not documented. That's when you use, you create like a project management initiative. And then these project managers are going to document and create documents of the process and procedures that exists inside your bank. And then you feed all that knowledge, all those documents to your GPT so that it's able to provide more than generic responses. Hey, can I do this or not? Conversationally, if you are, as a bank employee, you ask this GPT, it's able to give you bank-specific answer that your supervisor would give normally, but given they worked longer at the bank and they are more up to date on all the rules, regulations, things like that. So, you want to do your model training, customization, and another important thing is metadata tag. So R is the CEO of the bank. He has privileged access to certain bank-specific documents. ChatGPT cannot use that to answer a question of an agent or even a branch manager. So when you upload your knowledge to your banking GPT, you want to make sure that you tag the knowledge with the level of access that should be allowed. So as the CEO of the bank, you pretty much get all the even proprietary answers, and based on your role and level of access clearance you have inside your bank, you get different answers to the same question by your Midwest Banking GPT. So that's the whole idea: document collection, content organization, tagging, and training, model training and customization, and being able to provide role-based access control to the ChatGPT. These are the main important things. Like, I have seen a lot of AI. We are already doing AI-related projects for Fortune 500, as I already touched about in my introduction. So this is where a lot of AI initiatives fall flat. Somebody, your IT would get the mandate from your chief digital officer that, hey, we are going to use ChatGPT. I got the board approval to use ChatGPT inside the bank. It's clear, it's available. You get a notification like that, and then somebody like R goes there and tries something and sees that, oh, this is not the behavior we want for ChatGPT. He immediately shoots it down. Says, no. This is too edgy. We need to be conservative. We are a bank, not a technology company, and it gets shut down. The main reason for AI projects getting shut down is not because the technology is poor or less capable, but it is not customized and configured to the level of expectation of the companies. So that's where, if done in a thoughtful and rich manner, all the stuff, metadata tagging, content organization, model customization, then you will be able to see a lot. You'll see the like performance and productivity gains for being technology forward as a community bank. So that's the whole idea. This is the first thing that I would do if I'm empowered to make these decisions of bank. The next thing is both internal and external chatbots. Very viable, easy to implement AI capability that makes your bank look cool for everyone. Institutions, partners, customers, vendors, everybody, just by providing AI-powered chatbots. And these are not difficult to implement as well. And as you guys research on how you guys can create and use chatbots, things like that, it's like loan origination. You guys can use voice agents. It's totally possible and doable thing if we sit together, apply all of our minds together, and also do it in a tasteful way. Some of the mistakes that I've seen is like for LCEF, one of our clients, we basically it's actually a church that we basically did like a voice agent based AI product in like really low time. And basically the way we implemented it is, is as follows. Like basically this voice agent would call somebody like a potential donor. And then it's going to say, hey, I'm Melissa. I'm an AI agent working for Mr. R. And, it is R's idea that I reach out to you, gain some more initial intent and information about you, and then R would actually talk to you subsequently in a much more detail about our church. These are our services and capabilities, whatever is your pitch, right? Announcing that you are an AI agent is absolutely important. You're not cheating anyone, you're not bluffing anyone. And also telling that it's a human assisted agent and not some kind of like AI gone rogue is another important idea. Now, otherwise you'd be like, you just think like, oh, this is like spam call. I want to block this number, right? So, keeping these things in mind, if you tastefully put your mind and do it, this is going to generate immediate, useful, amazing results. So you can use the voice agents in customer service, banking transactions, handling calls, all this kind of stuff. The next thing is, another obvious thing is the meeting assistants. I had a few interactions already planning in for this event with Julie, Heather, everybody, and they're already using. So you are able to like basically get meeting minutes, executive summaries, action item tracking, decision documentation, all this kind of stuff. Around AI voice assistants and meeting assistants, IT connect workforce to maintain context. Like basically, you would the automated emails that you get from your AI meeting assistant as a follow-up after your meeting should keep in mind the context. There are two things here. One is you attended a meeting. In what context or capacity have you attended that specific meeting? your meeting assistant should keep that in mind. And it should also keep in mind your role and level of access. By creating the right identity and access management policies and mapping them to your meeting assistant, you can achieve this. That's where in the back end, under the hood of your meeting assistants, you have to have these kind of customizations. Then the meeting assistant can smartly decide, whether it can share that information with you or not. Sometimes if two people argue or scold with each other, the AI meeting assistant should not say like, these two people argued in the meeting transcript. You get my point? So that's the context that you want to have in your meeting assistant.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So for me, when I read the slides, I nerded out on them because I'm thinking broadly about the business, but most people, they operate in a specific lane. Of the things that have been mentioned here, like, what's one thing that would make your life as bankers just easier? So when we think about AI and technology, so when you all think, and I need help, when you think about your perspective, just with AI, with what's been presented here so far, what comes to mind? What's a question that comes to mind for you? What's a question?
More of a comment to answer your question, or I just think for a lot of us, it's manual processes, it's data entry. We want to be in front of customers as much as possible. That's what separates us from our competition. So, and I think you mentioned it, Krishna, with having something extract your data and implement it to a CRM system. Something along those lines where it makes our life easier to have the CRM system, but not the hindrance of the time it can take to manually input this data. And this is more of a comment, it could end up turning into a question, but as I think about ways for banks to utilize AI, things are evolving so quickly, and it just makes me think of deployments of cell phones and Wi-Fi and landlines and things along those lines, that it took years for things to become antiquated. But with AI and technology evolving so quickly, it almost seems like, where do you potentially pick your spots? Because it can become outdated so quickly now. Even it seems like by the time you get it fully implemented in training and the cost, that something new is coming out. So it's just interesting to think about where you would potentially spend your time to have those benefits.
So the question for you, Krishna,
Yeah.
is if you were to place a bet, like, again, we talk about agility. The whole thing around business is, you can't predict everything, but you have to create an agile framework, right? That's a mental framework, and then what you're talking about is a technological framework. How would you answer that question? And then we're going to ask other questions to get your feedback.
Absolutely. So, all of us, AI is multimodal now. It is voice, text, APIs, and emails, and everything. So creating a bank process within using AI, where it is multimodal, and basically using this agentic frameworks, build applications that's able to pull, aggregate, and provide data in a very fast fashion. Things like that, these document generation processing services, vision services, you have to use agents that will do all this work for you. And you are going to, basically you as a bank employee, you are going to, whenever you're out of a customer meeting, say you met somebody in person at a coffee shop or your branch, you just turn on the mic in your phone and just talk to your AI assistant. Your AI assistant is able to figure out the action path using this autonomous AI agents running in the background. It's able to take decisions, update data, provide you data, and actionable insights.
And that's actually right now, Chris. So the challenge is you have to stop doing what I do it. The challenge is you have to stop doing what you're doing and type stuff in. Nope. Now you're going to be able to audibly speak it, and then it automatically populates where it needs to go. And it's going to make life so efficient. What's your question? And then your question.
So, as we think about our differentiators, we've talked a lot about leaning into relationship banking. And one of the things that I have read is that in-person sales will actually become so much more important as AI evolves, and people don't trust the emails or the phone calls or even the videos because of how sophisticated it's coming. Can you comment on that a little bit? And what do you see the future like there?
And as you think about that, think about low-level, low-value activities, like I need to follow up with this person, send me your stuff yesterday. Like the low-level activity, hey, it's an AI, hey, this is just a reminder. Dude, get your paperwork in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've taken an SBA loan in the past for my business to do an acquisition. I understand how many forms they made me fill, sign, and scan, and there's so much iteration. The person that is getting me the loan is like super motivated, very nice person to work with, but still, because this technology didn't exist and is not properly implemented like 3 years ago, it's like so much back and forth. So it's going to be a huge productivity gain and boost for all of you guys, whether it's document processing, monitoring email inbox, and autonomous AI agents helping you guys. That is the new reality today. To her point, you are absolutely right. There will be human touch is where a community bank differentiates and prides itself from like a top bank, the top 5 banks here in the US. If I go to Chase Bank, nobody cares. They don't even know my name. But if I go walk into Midwest Banking Center, there might be somebody like Isla or somebody, hey Krishna, how are you doing? No, I'm like that kind of personal care, recognition, and touch. It's not going anywhere. You are going to be more productive, achieve more, and do less of the things that you hate in your job. For example, the manual data entry. By you using AI, you will be much more time efficient and enjoy your jobs. And it's also a good thing for your customers. Please do not think that this AI thing might take away the personal touch that our bank has with your customers. It is only going to allow you guys, make you guys connect with your customers in an even deeper way, in a more personalized way. If you have certain pieces of information before going to a meeting about a customer, you will be much more able to connect with them on a personal level, meaningful level, and that's what you're going to get.
Meta, in the future, you'll be able to have glasses on. I'm looking at it now, and I'll be able to look at you, and it's going to tell me everything about you. Because your data is already going to be stored somewhere.
Yeah, banks our size and smaller, I think one of the things that if you ask any of the owners that really isn't a hinder to them, it's the cost of maintaining their compliance.
Yeah.
And then that really inhibits their ability to get capital moving forward. So what are we hearing from the regulators, and what are the opportunities to try to address some of those costs?
Absolutely. I added some slides further down about risk management, risk assessment frameworks, and all that stuff. AI is definitely going to help you guys with a lot of automated work. The risk frameworks, rules, and regulations that banks should adhere to will not change. Your regulators are also not going to change the process, the way they audit you or check your compliance. That is still going to be there. But the laborious manual process that is involved in around document management, all the things that you need to do, all these reports that you need to generate, to show to the regulator that you are under compliance, that time and effort is only going to come down with a proper and thoughtful implementation of AI.
And a banker goes to say, am I capable of doing this? Can I do this? If it has changed yesterday, how do you update that information ongoing?
Great question. So that should be part of your implementation for your when you guys implement the bank GPT.
Krishna, I have a question. So as we get further into AI, what are some key things that we should consider from a strategic perspective to ensure that it is successful?
Being able to, I have one slide towards the
It's
end.
the governance slide.
Yeah, like being able to have fairness and bias mitigation and fairness. You don't want to have algorithmic bias. You like AI is generally based on feedback loops. And for example, on the topic of feedback loops, we all like balked at Google Gemini, like an earlier version, showing the fathers who created USA in more of a DEI like color in Gemini child responses, query responses. That's because if AI wrongly thinks it is doing correct and reinforces itself, it's going to give you wrong results, wrong outcomes. So that's why having these feedback loops, making sure there is no bias in your data algorithmically, and things like that is very important. And also governance as
It's at the end, yeah.
yeah. I want to quickly touch on this thing too. Diverse team that is controlling the rollout and features of AI inside your bank. You having a chief AI officer, cross-functional, so like basically having cross-functional collaboration, having regular reports and having an AI ethics committee, and having compliance officers look at your AI at regular intervals and making sure it's working as expected. These are some of the thoughtful things that you need to have.
Yep.
And another important thing is, so this is a mindset or perspective you guys need to have. When you guys try to roll out AI across the bank, don't complain that, oh, it's not working as expected, so I don't want to use it. It should be like, what can we do to customize this so that it works in the expected way? Everything, this is all software. Everything is customizable. So all of you guys should collaborate, come together, exchange feedback continuously, and make your company's AI much more better and tuned to you.
So
that's what should happen.
Like the silent movie industry, they had rock stars, and they say, yeah, that technology's back home, and it's not going to be here around forever. Who wants to listen to a movie?
Yeah.
What? I mean, like, now we think about that, and it's like, I mean, I can see Alfredo like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. So when you say AI is coming for us, I know that there's a lot of fear inside companies because I'm there and I'm talking to them. There's a lot of fear, but it's like, okay, and I mean, like, you figure out, just like with anything, you put protections in the places that you can put protections. But we're going.
Yeah.
Because we started with a slide that talks about relevance.
Yeah.
Right? So listen, give Krishna a round of applause.